So, American country music is wildly jealous of its authenticity, and rightly so. And I'm not judging any country fans or artists for that. Every genre has its tenets and its prize purity test, so to speak. That's fine. Everybody's got their own thing. Rap music really doesn't care where you're from or which city, but it does want you to be from a city with a ghetto. And it wants to know that you're from those streets, yo. So that's their standard. That's fine. They can have it. So pop music doesn't care where you're from. It's kind of assuming that wherever you're from, you're going to be moving to New York or LA. They just want to hear songs that make them feel good. Okay, so country music and, by extension, Southern rock, it's got a little more flexibility. It's not really concerned about so much where you're from, as long as that population on the town sign is less than 5,000. Obviously, the lower the better. The more rural route, the better. But it is what it is.
5,000. I got an aunt living in Ballybuffet.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady.
Population 5,406.
So the ironically named Keith Urban doesn't usually brag about being from Australia. You can totally hear it in his accent, though, and his fans aren't bragging about it on his behalf. Nobody's really upset about it, but it's certainly not the forefront of his marketing pitch. Now, he is more on the pop side of things, but if you'd open that question, then if he's not even from America. Country music does tend to be pretty popular there. I hung out with a fiddle player one time from Australia, and he was about as country as the driven snow. But anyway, so it really calls into question, though, this, what is the origin that we're requiring of our country singers and Southern rock, bands? What do we need them to be?
The only thing my aunt could bark on about is that old black and tan, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Well, that and the IRA.
Well, we won't get into politics here.
Sounds like something a Jaffa would say.
Okay. So, then that, you could open up the question. Could Southern rock or country be from up north? I mean, we know there's plenty of hunting, fishing, and outdoors, farming that's going up in Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, upstate New York. There's plenty going on there, for a good old country boy to write about. So could you have real country music coming from that area? I mean, sure. I mean, you have people even from Canada. Corb Lund, Shania Twain, Hank Snow, Coulter Wall. They're all from Canada, and nobody cares, right? That's fine. Like, it's literally never even brought up. I actually had no idea that Hank Snow was from Canada all these years later. So, if a country singer doesn't even have to be from America, could they be from anywhere? I mean, we've got Keith Urban, but I don't know if he's maybe the best example we want to, put forward as a real. So you could ask the same question about a Southern rock band, and I'm going to make the case that you could qualify Thin Lizzy as an honorary Southern rock band.
That's cultural appropriation, taking our good Irish lads and saying they're your Southern rock.
Well, I figured that since you were here, you were going to have something to say about it.
Aye. Well, I'm here, and I say you're dead wrong.
Dublin only has 500,000 people.
Ireland's a wee island. It's our biggest city.
Okay, let's lay out some basic tenets or maybe requirements for what is qualifying as Southern rock.
Fine then. I'll pour a drop.
Cheers. So, Southern rock has a foundation of rock and roll. Big surprise. It's just rock and roll. You've got the basic rock and roll, blues influence, and then there's the country flair comes in more on the guitar, and in the voice. Mainly where we see this is in the lyric theme. So you're going to substitute out the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and you're going to replace it with kind of more standard country living, country song themes. You might have...
Are you saying Jailbreak is a country song then?
No, not necessarily. But Thin Lizzy definitely qualifies on the rock side of things. Musical front, it could qualify as Southern rock. They made the harmonized guitars commonplace. So they have that side covered. They don't have fiddles and pedal steel. But then again, neither does, like Leonard Skinner or Molly Hatchet. Maybe on a song here or there, but it's very rare. And if anyone disagrees on the lyrical themes, I mean, let's take a look at it.
I think I can guess which song you were going to start with then.
Can you?
Aye.
Well, I was actually going to start with Whiskey in the Jar, actually.
But that's a traditional Irish tune. How does that make them Southern rock?
Exactly. So as I said earlier, authenticity is absolutely paramount for country music and Southern rock. And so if Thin Lizzy is from Ireland, the most authentic thing they could do would be to sing an Irish song. Now, if they were to sing, that Cotton-Eyed Joe, that wouldn't really be very Irish of them. That really wouldn't be very authentic of them. And so American folk music in general, too, is very much descended from Irish, Scottish, and English folk music. So really, they're just doing the same thing that American Southern rock bands are doing. They're just going a little further back to the source.
You don't normally dig that deep, Yankee.
Well, you have castles older than my country, so cut me some slack. And let's not forget the song is called Whiskey in the Jar. I mean, it's about drinking, hunting, and girl troubles. So if that ain't country...
Well, I ain't kissing your arse.
Well, thank you. I actually was hoping you would not. Okay, so in 1971, Thin Lizzy released their debut self-titled album, and their track Era. Whatever. Okay, it's Gaelic for Ireland, and for a rock band, this is like a mythical, historical, theme. It's definitely not falling in the standard sex, drugs, and rock and roll category. So that's unique in and of itself. But they also have Freedom Song, Ballad of a Hard Man. Arguably their biggest hit, The Boys Are Back in Town, is literally just about getting drunk with the boys and fighting. And I mean, is there anything more American than that?
It's pretty Irish if you ask me.
Well, I wasn't going to ask you. But since you bring it up, I mean, America has a lot of Irish blood, particularly in the Northeast. And so I would just say it counts as both. We haven't really got into any of the cowboy themed songs yet, but we know that Phil Lynott, wrote Massacre. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. And that was about the Battle of Little Bighorn. Some have said that this song was about the Irish Troubles, but the song was originally called Little Bighorn. So, plus he has, he's talking about buffalo and bandoleros, so that places it in a decidedly American context. There's another song off of that album, which I'm definitely not allowed to say on YouTube, but it deals with the Native Americans and the killing of the buffalo in particular. So it's possible that maybe Phil identified with the Native Americans, with the English invading Ireland, and there's maybe that he's using it as a metaphor. Sure, but he's still talking about it in these contexts. So, there's also Mexican Blood, which is the saddest song ever. It's about a girl, and there's boys following after her. There's a law officer. There's a case of mistaken identity, and they get killed. And all I gotta say is, if you're gonna listen to that song, just prepare yourself. Have a stiff drink ready.
Sweet Mother Mary, that's sad.
It is sad. As Edgar Allan Poe said, nothing moves the heart like the death of a woman. And of course, we should also just give a shout out to Hollywood and Southbound. I mean, I think those get an honorable mention.
Southbound? He carries on about the docks. There aren't that many docks in Texas.
True. It's clear the song was autobiographical. He's talking about the need to travel as a touring musician. But we've clearly established that Phil repeatedly references the American West. And he even says the Wild West has already been won. So he's clearly still playing on American themes.
I forgot about verse 2.
Now, there isn't a Southern Rock Hall of Fame, but I think there should be. And Thin Lizzy should definitely be considered in it. So, honorary at the very least. Now, they shouldn't get ahead of bands like Lynyrd Skynyrd or maybe Molly Hatchet, the Allman Brothers. But let's be honest, there's not a lot of Southern rock bands in general. So I think when we start the Southern Rock Hall of Fame, we can make a little room for some boys from Dublin who had a fascination with the Old West. Musically, they easily qualify, and I think hopefully we've at least covered that thematically they can cut the mustard.
Guess I could live with that, but they're still as Irish as a pint of Guinness.
Well, I won't argue with that.
Wee fecker didn't even bring up Cowboy Song. Grand so, but I sure hope these good folks don't like and subscribe to this shite.